I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. And should I even ask how we're doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
How about them Cowboys?
No. Oh,
hey, first place, baby.
No.
First place, baby.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I want you to stand in front of there. Where's your jersey? How about that? No, I want you to know how you do it, Skip. You know how you got your first win. You came out here. How about them Cowboys?
How about that Tom Brady on Sunday? We're going to talk about that later also.
Skip.
Can't wait.
You've been a Bucs fan. There was even Buccaneers wasn't even thought of when you were a Cowboy fan. And now
I'm a Brady fan, and I still am and always have been.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Skip. You left your team.
Okay, it was nice to see the Tom Brady jersey yesterday, but unfortunately no Cowboys jersey this morning because the Cowboys' first game without Dak Prescott couldn't have gone much worse as Dallas got blown out 38-10 by Arizona last night. Ezekiel Elliott fumbled on back-to-back possessions in the first half that led to quick Cardinals touchdowns, and Andy Dalton threw 2 interceptions while he tried to keep the Cowboys afloat. Meanwhile, Dallas's defense struggled yet again, giving up 261 rushing yards, allowing Arizona to score touchdowns on 4 straight possessions that put the game out of reach midway through the third quarter. So, Shannon, what was the biggest reason the Cowboys got blown out last night?
Well, before I go into that, Skip, from what I've seen this year and what I've seen a little bit of last year, Buda Baker is the best safety in football, and I will provide no more commentary, no more comments at this time on that issue. The reason why they lost, Skip, is...
What was that about?
Did you watch him last night? You say you like to see guys that flash.
Yeah.
Did he flash?
Sure he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but your point is what?
I said before...
Are you arguing against some other safety or what?
No. I said before.
Okay, we all saw that. We get that. That's why I picked the Cardinals to be a wild card team, and you laughed at me. Aha. But thank you for bringing that up.
I also laughed at you when you said the Cowboys would win 12 games. I laughed at you.
I did not say that's a lie.
Well, okay,
that's a flat-out lie.
What was the record?
10.
Okay, they're going to get 10.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to win the East.
No, you said 10 wins. Yeah. Okay, now what I was saying.
Okay. Did you predict my quarterback would be gone for the year?
No. Okay, let me finish. Yeah. To make my point, the reason why the Cowboys lost this ball game last night is that their defense is historically bad through the first 6 games, and Zeke turned the football over. So when you turn the football over, Skip, and your defense is historically bad, you want to minimize how many snaps your defense is actually on the field. You don't want to put them out there and put them on short fields any more than you absolutely possibly can. And so once they did that, they turned the ball over because now they're really bad in turnover margins, Skip. They were already bad going into it. So now you turn the ball over again 4 times. So let this sink in. The Cowboys teams have scored on every single possession in which the Cowboys have turned the football over. You're going to lose more times than not. They don't have one of these defenses, Skip. If you turn the ball over, they might can hold them to a field goal or they might can force a punt. They got teams driving. Kyler Murray comes out first play, 80-yard, boom, throws it back. So that lets you know just they're giving up 36 points a game. And yesterday, Skip, I said, if you force me, I would say Andy Dalton is the best quarterback in the NFC East. That was an indictment on the quarterback play in that division. That wasn't an endorsement of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is who I thought he was. Under his watch, he played 13 games last year. They got the #1 overall pick. That Andy Dalton did that. For me, Skip, I believe it's going to get, there's something going on here. Now, I don't know if they're watching film. Maybe they have these Zoom things, Skip. But they act as if they didn't know Kyler Murray had escapability, that he could roam. What I'm seeing is that what they saw on film is that the Cowboys' defensive ends, they like to get nosy and play the run inside. And guess what? Kyler Murray. Yeah. You see how Kyler Murray kept getting the edges?
I didn't notice getting nosy playing the run inside. I've been watching close. I ain't seen none of that.
So explain to me how Kyler Murray kept getting around the edge.
What did I tell you while he was in college?
No.
I told you when he was in college.
Wait,
you asked me a question. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I told you in college, quickest feet I've seen since Barry Sanders, and you laughed at me. And what did you see last night, Mr. Sharp Hall of Famer? What did you see on display? They're the most electric feet I've seen since Barry Sanders.
Okay, all that being said,
yes.
If you know he has electric feet, how in the hell do the Cowboys keep letting him get the edge? Answer me that, Mr. 40-year vet in the media.
Jalen Smith spied him every freaking play. Every play. Jalen Smith, who ran 4.5 coming out. And Kyler is so quick that even with the spy, he was beating the spy to the flank every time. Every time.
If you know that,
thank you.
If you know Jalen
thank you
Smith,
for bringing that up.
If you know
Appreciate
Jalen Smith is spying, the ends have to come upfield so Jalen Smith can meet him. If you let him get the edge, Skip, even from that position, as fast as Kyler Murray is, Jalen Smith is not going to be able to catch him. If you let him get the edge, you have to keep him contained. That's what you do. You box him in. You don't let him get the edge. All that being said is that Zeke turned the football over, and he's going to have it's in his head now, because we've seen this over the last 3 games, Skip, and that was a problem that Zeke really never had before, is turning the football over. But when your defense is as bad as the Cowboys and your offense puts them in harm's way, you get this on a Monday night. But I'm not surprised by this, because now, at some point in time, we blame Chris Richard. We blame Jason Garrett. Who was the defensive coordinator before? Rod Marinelli. We blame Rod Marinelli. Now they got a new defensive coordinator. They got a new head coach. And a lot of those same players that we placed the blame on Chris Richard, on Rod Marinelli, and Jason Garrett are still there, and they're worse. So I need to know, is it still coaching, or is it those players?
I'm glad you brought up the new head coach. He deserves much of the blame for what has been happening for 6 games, because my team very easily could be 0-6.
Absolutely.
And the new head coach, for some reason, is not pushing any of the right emotional buttons in his team, because I continue to see them come out ready to play, I think, and then get blown off the field and quit. I see it again and again and again. Is it my turn now?
It's your turn. Okay. Before you go, Skip, one thing. Just imagine if Kyler Murray had played really well throwing the football. He completed 9 passes, Skip. Just imagine if he was Kyler Murray, the Kyler Murray that you believed that he was going to be coming out of college. Might have been 50-10.
You were right. He got off to a shaky start. His coach thought he was a little too pumped for a home game, back home in his home area. He's from Allen, which is just north of Dallas, a suburb, basically. I am so tired of watching both the 2019 and the 2020 Cowboys, because the nightmare just keeps repeating over and over and over again. And now I had to endure a Monday nightmare.
Massacre.
It's just hard to stomach after a while when this team has known such heights of greatness, such epic achievement in the distant past that I grew up with. It's hard to watch what is happening right now, because let's just take this year. With Dak Prescott still at quarterback, they fell behind quickly to the Rams 7-0. They hung in that game. So that was actually the best game they played all year. Dak threw a beautiful deep ball to Gallup at the end. He got called for a push-off, which I thought was completely bogus. But they lost, as usual. And then here we went. The Falcons come to Jerry World. The Cowboys were down 20-0 after the first quarter, and 29-10 at halftime.
Yes.
And they miraculously stole a victory, and I still don't know how they did it, but they did it. And then they go to Seattle, and they're down 30-15 in the third quarter, which actually feels respectable given what's been happening. And then Cleveland comes to Jerry World. Cleveland, we saw Cleveland just stink it up.
Lay an egg.
Okay, lay a big old goose egg. Cleveland had my Cowboys at home down 41-14 in the third quarter and rushed for 307 yards. The New York Football Giants, who now have 1 win to their name so far this year, they had my team down with Dak at quarterback 17-3 in the second quarter at home. And then last night happened. It was 21-3 at half. Then it was 31-3 in the third quarter, and it ended up 38-10. And I guess my only solace last night was at least Aaron Rodgers can relate to what it feels like to lose 38-10, because he just did it at Tampa. So that's my only little, tiny little takeaway of ray of light from what happened last night. To your points, this team has by far the worst defense in football. And yet the irony last night was they actually came out playing pretty well on defense. They were flying around. Wolf Hunter is back. Leighton Vander Esch. I think he made it through the whole game. Big old number 55. He didn't do a whole lot, but at least he didn't get hurt.
Right.
And that's like a victory, right? A small victory.
Yeah,
moral
that's a
victory.
win for him.
It is a big win. And they made Kyler and company punt the first 3 times, and I thought, you know what? Maybe we're seeing some signs of life here. Now we're to turnover differential. This is beyond bad. This is minus 12 through 6 games. It's impossibly bad because they lead by 5. They are the worst by 5 in takeaway turnovers. Right. The Eagles and the Vikings are minus 7. They're minus 12. Really? Minus 12? How can you do that? They have the fewest takeaways in football at minus 3, so the defense will not take the ball away.
Right.
And they have turned it over by far the most times, 15 to 12 for the Vikings and Eagles. As you know, that is a recipe not just for losing, it's for disaster.